Welcome, reality programmers. So today I just wanted to give you some tips for handling the big energies that you might be feeling. It's November 2025, but this is applicable for any time you might be feeling the heavy energies or some challenging energies. So I'm getting a lot of reports from my friends. They're going about their daily life and they just burst into tears, for example. And this actually happened to me too today. I was just walking along, minding my own business, going on a lovely walk, and suddenly tears were streaming out of my eyes. I was triggered by a memory of my dog that passed away 2 years ago. And it's this one particular memory that is kind of a trigger for me. It's kind of one of the saddest memories I have of my dog. And it just popped into my head, and then the tears started flowing for about 2 minutes. And then I tuned in and I realized it wasn't about the dog at all, but something, my higher self, needed me to cry, needed me to release. So I tuned in, and it wasn't anything to do with the dog. It was to do with something else that I was working on, some other inner work unrelated. But this is what you should know, is that when you have tears, sometimes they might be valid for what you're going through. But if you're spontaneously bursting into tears or just have tears dribbling down, a few tears, just know that it's possibly a release that your higher self is assisting you with. So you might try to link these tears to something that's going on in your life. They might even be triggered by a memory, like a random memory, like me today. Or you might try to link it to something your partner says or something that's going on at work, but perhaps you should reconsider the cause of these tears. They're probably not yours, so to speak. You are a vessel for healing a galactic trauma in your spirit tree, in your soul. So let them flow, dry them up, and move on. And try and feel good after it. You know, after my 2-minute tear flood, I felt great and I continued walking, and it was like nothing had ever happened. Scientific studies have found that after crying, people actually do feel better, both physically and physiologically. Chemicals built up by the body during stress were removed by tears, which actually lowered stress. And people feel worse by suppressing their tears. So tear magic is real. One of my super abilities is that I can sometimes make people burst into tears and really sob hard for a very powerful healing. I've done this quite a few times in public places. I am a regular at a supper club with live music, and quite a few times I've just gone up to people. Some of them I know, some of them I didn't know, random people, and I've just said some trigger words that came into my head that I was compelled to go up and tell them, and they just burst into tears for a very profound healing. So crying and producing tears is obviously a very, very powerful and quick way that you can release trauma and heal yourself, bring more light into your light body. We can be triggered by our higher selves, by a memory, a sudden random memory that pops into our mind that can trigger sadness and tears to come out. And so your higher self knows what makes you cry. So your higher self might be working in the background to input a random traumatic memory that you thought you had gotten over, but that still possibly is a trigger for you that can produce tears. So our tears are a part of our magic. They're a part of our SKINSUIT technology, and they are very powerful. They indicate a great release, a very profound release, not only of stress, but of galactic trauma. So that's just a heads up about the tears. Hopefully you're yawning a lot, because yawning is a timeline correction. So that's always a good sign. It's important to go into your heart space with kind of like a mantra, like all I do is from a place of oneness with unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, and no energy is abandoned, and there is no judgment. So if you kind of have these words or phrases in your heart space when you're feeling the heavy energies, that might help the energies to shift, because your intent is from a place of oneness. And try not to blame, shame yourself, or try not to attach these emotions to anything that's happening in this physical reality, because sometimes it has nothing to do with anything in your life. It's a galactic or interdimensional response or release. Navigating these energies can be quite challenging if you don't really know what's going on, but you should just know that a lot of these emotions that you're feeling, depression or sadness or anger even, they're basically not you, even though you aren't a unique expression of your bigger, more expansive soul. These emotions are what you're healing, is how you heal and remedy and resolve. It's kind of automatic inner work. And so if you're aware of this and you have the clear intent to operate from a place of oneness, with no judgment, with unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness, we all have dark expressions, and we've all more or less done it all. So there can be no shame, blame, or guilt for yourself or for others. Having said that, don't be a doormat. And when you do get emotional, try to write it out. Things I don't advise is having too many cigarettes or alcohol. A glass of wine possibly doesn't help. Having a Toblerone chocolate definitely doesn't help. Trish, that advice is for you. And going to buy a crepe, a banana chocolate crepe with a topping of salted caramel ice cream, probably isn't for your highest good. Having a second glass of wine probably isn't the best idea either. Waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and going to have a hamburger with blue cheese dressing is probably not the best thing that you can do. And all of this advice is free. So basically what I'm saying is, as you do not judge others, don't judge yourself. Just do what you need to do to ride out these energies. I find walking is always a good thing. It's very cold where I live in Tokyo at the moment, so I can't go swimming, which is usually my go-to exercise. It's too cold to swim, so I just go for a long walk in the neighborhood. My neighborhood is filled with ice cream shops, crepe shops, coffee shops. There's lots of really good food in this neighborhood, so the walks are always a pleasure. It's always good to reward yourself, I think, or not. Stretching is always good, especially stretching your solar plexus. A lot of these solar codes, these solar flares, come in through our solar plexus and other portals and chakras, but the solar plexus, I find, is a hub for a lot of these energies. The lower back and the solar plexus are important areas at this time. So make sure that you're wiggling your hips, stretching your solar plexus, and breath work is really, really important. So before I go to bed each night and when I wake up, I do 10 really deep, slow breaths and exhales. And I find that this really helps to shift energies. And sometimes if I really have a heavy heart, sometimes I just have no heart space at all. Something I'm attached to just has no heart space. And it makes me feel like crap. And so I actually, if I can't manage to do anything, I don't even want to do anything. I don't even want to go for a walk. I hum. And just a couple of minutes of humming, even just 1 minute of humming, any song you like, any tune. I find that this also shifts energy. The hum, when you hum, you can vibrate your entire body, and it really helps to shift the energies and to activate what needs to be moved. So humming is something that you can do even when you're really not motivated to do much at all. If the energy is really dark, have a warm glass of water with some freshly squeezed lemon juice, half a squeezed lemon in a glass of warm water. For me, that really helps to transmute along with breathing. And sometimes if you're feeling blocked, watch a sad movie, kind of try to make yourself cry. Sometimes I watch videos about baby orphaned elephants. That makes me cry. But baby elephants doing zoomies, that fills my heart space with so much love. So, use YouTube to get the emotion that you need, that is required to help you shift some energies. Of course, if you're a highly motivated individual, singing, dancing, moving, laughing is all good. But sometimes the energies are so hard, you can't really, or I can't really get motivated to do any of these things. So I just end up humming with a glass of warm lemon juice. But the energies have been quite challenging for me too, although I have been on a couple of really interesting deep dives. I've just earned a new decloaking ability, which is absolutely fascinating, which I hope to share with you very soon. So we've just had the Beaver supermoon in November 2025. And then we had November 11, which is 11/11. This is a lot of awakening energy coming through on this day. It actually is the day World War I ended. And I do have a video about that. There was a dark magic linked to that date, a sleeping spell. But this 11/11, it's a great, very powerful portal day for awakening. So make sure that you're aligned with the awakening energies and not the sleeping energies. And just another point, I've had a few friends recently kind of complain to me about their partners who are asleep and not willing to go on a journey of awakening. and not really willing to listen to them. But just remember that DNA is like Wi-Fi. So you work on yourself, you work on your own awareness, which is so important, really, really important. The more you are aware of, the more your higher self can do. Your higher self does not know everything. It needs your awareness and your command in many instances. Not all, but with your awareness, you level up quicker. So DNA is like Wi-Fi. And, when you're with a partner, your awareness and what you know and your intent to remedy and resolve from a place of oneness, you can share that information with your partner. So you can be the change and you can have an impact on those that are around you. Awakening other people can be very frustrating and very challenging. So maybe take a step back and let your DNA, your natural Wi-Fi, your higher selves are very chatty. Let them do the job. Have the intent to be a chatty higher self with your partner. And so you can work from a higher self level. But again, from a place of oneness with no judgment. So I do hope that you are enjoying these solar flares and the aurora and all of these awakening energies that are really streaming in thick and fast. So if you are shedding a few tears these days, a little bit emotional, it is not only you. We're all in this together. There are many of us who are experiencing this. Just write it out. Or have a glass of wine. I didn't say that. Put someone around. Anyone want to say anything? Because I don't know what to say. Come on. Spit it out. Don't beat yourself up. You're all legends. Legends in our own lunchtime. Okay. That's it from me. So I hope this has made you feel lighter and less entangled. Thanks for watching.